Welcome to Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc, the wildest tag team in podcasting where the kayfabe drops and the chaos takes over. Let's ring the damn bell.
Headlock fight, heels on the prowl, dropping elbows, hearing growl, feeling foul. No script here, just real, no bluff. Kayfabe crack, now the dirt gets rough. Headlocks, heels, havoc in the zone. Stepping in the ring, chaos at your home. No filters, no mask, just raw pants on. Wrestling unscripted, we on the throne. Title bells, mic checks, crowd going crazy. Drop truth bombs, leaving lines feeling hazy. Beyond the kayfabe, past the charade, where legends are born and stories get made. Headlocks poppin', who's hitting the mat? Welcome to the Havoc where the real talk's at. Tune in, step through, leave the fake at the door. Headlocks, heels, Havoc, now hear the roar.
Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I am one half of the greatest tag team in this podcasting world. It's me. It's that Legend. And with me, as always, is, of course, everybody's favorite uncle and my tag team partner, Uncle Slam.
What's up, family, and welcome to the People's Podcast.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are taking a trip out west, all the way to Phoenix, Arizona, because tonight we have a man who knows what it means to live in the wrestling life, put in the work, and represent when that bell rings. He is one half of the Pretty City Express, and this is a tag team that has been putting in the work throughout the Southwest and beyond. These guys have competed for some great promotions, including Phoenix Championship Wrestling, Future Stars of Wrestling, Winning Circle Pro Wrestling, Duke City Championship Wrestling, and Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling. And tonight we get the opportunity to sit down with one half of that team and find out what makes him tick. We're talking about the journey, the grind, the sacrifices, the victories, the losses, the brotherhood of tag team wrestling, and what it really takes to make a name for yourself in this business. From Phoenix, Arizona to wrestling rings across this country, this man has been putting miles on the road and leaving his mark everywhere he goes. So tonight we're going to open up the book and hear the story behind the wrestler, the man behind the persona, and what the future holds for the Pretty City Express. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, get ready because the train is pulling into the station. Christopher Landon, Anthony Streeter, one half of Pretty City Express. Welcome to Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. That's quite the intro. That's quite the intro, man. That's a lot to live up to. I hope I'm ready.
Hey, we put the pressure on. You know.
I love it. I love it. Bring it on, man. Let's do it. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Thank you for being here. It is an absolute honor. Like I said, we've tried to. We're shooting for all 50 states and continental and abroad. But yeah, we appreciate it. We appreciate you coming on. And the cool thing about it is getting to talk to people from different portions of the country. You get to see what kind of wrestling really. And I mean, yes, wrestling is wrestling for the most part when you break it down. But different regions, different things, are what people like in certain places. You go to Philadelphia and they want to see somebody getting hit with a chair. It's a different thing. So yeah, we appreciate you being here wholeheartly. Can't wait to get into it. So yeah, I guess we'll just get started. There really ain't much else to say. So, take us back to the beginning, man. How did you get started in the business and, figure out, hey, this is something I want to do?
Yeah, it's kind of a long story, so I'll try to hit the cliff notes of it.
Oh, no, take your time.
Man, I did most of my undergrad in Nebraska, and the guys I became really close friends with were huge wrestling fans. And I was a fan when I was a kid, like a lot of people, right? I grew up in the Attitude Era, so it's hard not to know about wrestling and be a huge fan of wrestling. And these guys got me back into it. And one day, one of my buddies is like, "Hey, do you want to go to this wrestling camp with me?" And I was like, "Huh? I didn't know we were allowed to." "Yeah, what is it? Let's do it." And so for a week, him and I drove to Eldon, Missouri for the World League Wrestling annual camp with Harley Race. And so that was for a week. All we did was take bumps, learn how to roll, do warm-ups, and then watch the people who had actually like been in the business do matches and stuff, and just learned a whole bunch of things about wrestling. And then that was like, okay, this hurts so bad, and also I have to do this. I like this. This is my in. I have to do this. And so when I moved to Arizona for grad school, I looked it up. Sure enough, there's some wrestling schools out here, and I told myself, if I don't try this and I turn 40, I'm going to hate myself. So let me just try it and see what happens. And I took to it. Wasn't too bad at it. And so now here we are almost 10 years later.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. You never know unless you take a chance, and who better to take a chance on you than you?
Exactly.
Exactly. I mean, that's just the way it is. You gotta, nothing's ever going to happen if you're sitting still. So yeah, that is awesome, man. So were you driving from out west to all the way to Missouri?
No, so I was going to school in Nebraska at the time.
Oh,
where I was
okay.
doing my undergrad.
That's right. You said that.
Okay.
But still, from where we were at Nebraska, in central Nebraska, to this school was 7 hours in the car.
Damn.
So we were there for a week. We stayed in a hotel, did the whole thing. And that was like that was the closest place I knew about where we could go back and train. And that just wasn't realistic to be driving 7 hours every week when I'm trying to go to school, when I'm working, like this and that. So I had to kind of put that on hold until I ended up in Arizona. And that's where I, like you said, bet on myself. And man, like that's such a good lesson for professional wrestling, because it's such a like vulnerable sport where you're out there fighting people in your underwear in front of screaming fans. Like that's insane, right? And so talk about betting on yourself in like the craziest way possible.
Well, it's crazy too. You said it, out there fighting in your underwear. I'm wondering, now that you said that, I wonder who the first guy was like, you know what? I don't feel like wearing these pants out there. I'm going to take them off. Yeah.
Right. I'm more aerodynamic when I have my underwear on.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Them tighty whities back in, man, they flapped a lot in the back there once they stretched out and everything.
Oh my gosh. You watch some of the old stuff, like, yeah, those trunks didn't look very tight. Like there was some air getting in there for sure.
Yes. Yes. You get it back in the Bruno San Martino days and stuff when there was no spandex. It was just a little bit of stretchy fabric, and hope to God it was form fitting.
Yep.
If it wasn't, it was dragging. And we ain't talking about Steamboat either.
That's right.
But so what particular wrestler or match or tag team, just what moment in the business made you fall in love with professional wrestling? And looking back now, does that influence still show up in the wrestler you've become?
So I've told this story a couple times. I'm sure this wasn't my first ever exposure to wrestling, but this is the first memory I have. Is I was down like watching TV as a kid, right, flipping through channels, and I just flipped through, and all of a sudden I see this like a smoky arena. There's thousands of people going absolutely nuts. There's a beer truck driving down to the ring, and I'm like, what is happening? And reminder, I'm like 7 or 8 years old at this time. And then this bald-headed guy gets out, starts spraying all these people in suits with beer in the ring, jumps in there and starts beating the hell out of them. I was like, what else do you need to be hooked? Right?
Exactly.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And so it like that was such a profound memory that stuck with me, and it sticks with me to this day. And I think the part that sticks with me from that, I haven't driven a beer truck down to a ring and sprayed some people with beer yet. But what
keyword.
Keyword. But man, what sticks with me is like the utter chaos and just the electricity from the crowd. And so that's something I try to embody, is like, if the crowd's not into it, maybe I'm not doing something right, you know? And so I like to really engage the people in whatever venue setting I'm in. And like you said earlier, right, different places kind of respond to different wrestling. And so I think that's part of the art of it too, is like, okay, where am I at? What are they used to seeing? And then how can I get them engaged with what I want to do in the ring? And I think that's such a huge part of it, man.
Psychology. Oh, it is. Yes.
Exactly.
Ring psychology is huge. So I take it you would say that Stone Cold was probably the biggest influence just with that?
So here's the funny thing. He was a big influence, but I was a Rock guy, and I still am a Rock guy. I was
Okay.
like, Rock's my favorite wrestler of all time. So I like once I then started watching, and The Rock popped on, I was like, this guy's it. This is the coolest person in the entire world. The most charisma, always just doing everything that is beyond belief for me, you know. And so as a kid watching that, it doesn't get better than that for me.
I think that's what makes wrestling so beautiful is the fact that so many different styles can make it. Because you've got that Rock and Hulk Hogan type that maybe they weren't the best ring technicians, you know. And I'm not saying Hogan can't wrestle because he went over to Japan and showed everybody he could wrestle, but it just wasn't what he was asked to do.
Yeah.
Same with The Rock. The Rock was out, you know, handed a microphone and said, "Go out there and make everybody cheer." You
Yep.
know, and he could hit 3 or 4 moves in a match and send the roof off the place just like Hogan. But then you've got the other side with like the Flairs, the Bret Harts, the Shawn Michaels, you know, the Owen Harts and stuff that were the good mat technicians. And it's just like, it's amazing how like you can have so many different styles, but it can all gel at the same time. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Like, who would have? No, I don't think, and I don't think it's a good example to use Hogan and Flair because I don't think their matches ever lived up to the hype of what they were supposed to be. But I also think that they waited a little too late.
Yeah,
if
see,
they
that's what I
could
was
have,
gonna say.
if they could have done it 87,
Oh my
88,
gosh, come on.
dude, that would have been the biggest. That would have been. I think that would have been bigger than WrestleMania 3.
The world might have imploded if they'd wrestled at that
Right.
time. Yeah.
Right. But then
Yeah.
you got like the Stone Cold versus The Rock, where those
Oh.
two different styles did mesh.
Yep.
You know, and Stone Cold was more the technician, Rock was more the entertainment. You know, because everybody knows, even Uncle Slam, as big of a Rock fan as he is, he'll admit, man, that sharpshooter's terrible.
Yeah.
It's the worst sharpshooter I've ever seen is the Rock sharpshooter.
But the confidence in which he has when he slaps that thing
I
on,
know.
man, you can't beat it. You just,
Yeah,
it
it's
just makes you
believable,
fall in
yeah.
love with it.
I know.
It's like he believes he's hurting him. No.
Yeah. Exactly. But I think that's such a cool part about wrestling is like, it's not necessarily who's technically the best, right? Like you look at someone, Dean Malenko comes to mind, arguably one of the best technical wrestlers of all time, but maybe not necessarily has the charisma or the ability to cut a promo like those other guys. And so in order to be one of the quote unquote top guys, you have to have some blend of all of it, but charisma is like at the top of that list, right? So
Yep.
Flair, I look at, is someone who had everything, right?
Yep.
He had the promo, he had the charisma, he had the persona, and then he could do what he did in the ring too. Like he was lightning in a bottle, you know?
Yep. And I agree. Now that you said that, you know, I tell people all the time, a moment that really kind of defines that to me is the first time Hogan and Flair ever saw each other on WWE television, or F at the time, on the Funeral Parlor. Ric Flair came out. He had that green robe. I still remember it to this day. He had that green robe on, and he started. He as soon as he said, "You know how long I've had to listen to the name Hulk Hogan," and then he just kept going. And finally, he got to the point where he said, "Well, I'm here, and I'm here to burst that bubble you've been living in, big man." Like,
Yep.
and I was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "Yes, get him, Flair,
Yep.
get him." And I was a Hogan mark.
Yep.
For the longest time, I was, "Get him, Flair, get him." Next thing you know, he said, "And in closing, what you gonna do?" And he didn't get it all out before Hogan interrupted him, and Hogan grabbed his shirt and just started ripping it and said, "Let me tell you something, Ric Flair." And I was like, "Get him, Hulk, get him." Like, they both had me hooked, and it was it was beautiful. Like, I miss that, man. I miss it so much. Sorry, didn't mean to go off on a tangent, but if anybody doesn't know, go back and watch that. It's great. By the way, Stan Collins, thank you for watching, buddy. Also, Dave Allen said, "Sup, peeps." Yeah, appreciate
Hey,
y'all
what's up,
being.
Stan?
Yes, don't forget to hit that like, share, follow, and subscribe and all that good stuff. And then when we get done, he's going to plug all his stuff and go like, follow, share, subscribe, and do all the things he needs you to do too.
Yes, sir.
But
Sure.
yes, so when you decided to be a wrestler, like what did your family say? Was they like, man, come on? Or was they.
So it's actually a fun story that does involve The Rock. So to start this story, you have to go back to when I was like 7, 8, 9 years old. And there was a friend of mine and I were at the store with my mom, and we were in the toy section, and we saw action figures, right? And so there was one of The Rock, there was one of Mankind, his favorite wrestler, begging my mom, like, you have to buy us these, you have to buy us these, just begging. She's like, no, no. And we bagged her, we wore her out all the way home, and she finally goes, all right, you guys really want these? We go, yes. She put us to work in our pasture for 4 hours to go buy two $6 action figures. Okay. So that was like my prized possession forever. So fast forward to when I told him that I was wrestling, and I'm in a doctorate program at this time when I start wrestling. So my family really values education. Doctorate degree is the highest you can
Yes,
get,
sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
So I call and tell him, I'm a year into the doctorate program. I call and tell him, and my mom just goes, no, you can't do this. This isn't a good idea. You know, you're not going to finish school. I said, Mom, I'm in a doctorate program. I'm not going to leave. I'm going to finish school. I'm going to become a doctor. I think I've hit all the education requirements. I think I would like it if you accepted this. And she goes, you're right. You're right. And then about a week and a half later, that Rock action figure showed up in the mail. And it was like her being like an accepting, like, okay, I'm with you. Here you go. It was like one of the coolest moments.
That's awesome, though, for real. Like that. I mean, honestly and truthfully, that's like a really special moment because you know your mom showed you right there and then. I trust you, and I trust what you're going to do.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. I've thought about it. You did the blueprint. Every mainstream rock or Stone Cold or anybody would tell you, go get a college education first. Yep. And then become a professional wrestler, do the training.
Exactly.
That way you got that fallback, and you did just that. That's awesome, man. Sorry, go ahead.
And it was, so that was a cool moment. And then, like you said, get an education. So at that Harley race camp, Dr. Tom was one of the guest trainers one day. And so I went up to him and I was like, hey, man, this is like my second day ever in wrestling. Like, do you have any advice for me? And he goes, well, what are you doing? Like, what do you do outside of here? And I was like, well, I'm in school right now. I'm doing undergrad. I want to go be a psychologist. And he goes, get yourself a degree. Yeah. Finish school and then try this. And so Devin and I, my tag team partner, we went to train with Dr. Tom about a year and a half ago. We went over there for about a week and hung out with him and trained and got to know him pretty well. And it was cool. Like this was probably over 10 years later since I went to that camp. And I had told him, like, you probably don't remember this, but you told me to finish my education and then pursue wrestling. And so I just wanted to tell you I'm a doctor now. And he was like, I don't know if you know Dr. Tom. He's just the coolest dude of all time. But he goes, that's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. That's pretty good stuff.
One of the heavenly bodies.
Yep, exactly.
If I'm not mistaken, he's the one who started the inspiration for the Stone Cold character.
Maybe.
Because if I'm not mistaken, it was him and Stone Cold were riding down the road because Stone Cold had just got to the WWE and was doing the Ringmaster, and he looked at Stone Cold and he said, what's so stunning about Steve? And Stone Cold was like, man, he's right. He's like, I ain't exactly the best looking guy in the world or nothing like that. He said, I got this long, stringy blonde hair. I'm going bald, blah, blah, blah. So he was like, it's crazy. But no, speaking of Tom Pritchard, at the Corbin Arena, I don't know if you're interested, man, check it out. I believe they're going to have it on YouTube. But Appalachian Mountain Wrestling, they're one of the biggest independents here in Kentucky. They're holding a huge show, and as a matter of fact, about 20 minutes ago, they announced another WWE guy, or former WWE guy, that's coming to that show, and it's basically going to be their WrestleMania.
Oh, nice.
They've got FTR coming. They've got the Good Brothers, Carlito, bunch of great talent, plus a bunch of the best indie talent here in Kentucky there is to offer. We love indie wrestling now.
What is it? Marty Clay.
Marty Clay, yeah, he's really good. I think he's been talking to WWE a little bit. He's been on WWE TV a little bit and everything too. So yeah, check him out. That's a plug for you all, AMW, and of course EWA, our home promotion. They gave us our footing. But yeah, that's enough about them. We're here to talk about you. So what's the biggest difference between the way you like imagined professional wrestling would be before you got into the business and kind of the reality that hit you once you got in it and was like, oh, okay, this is it?
I think two things come to mind instantly. Number one, I alluded to it earlier, but it hurts to be a professional wrestler. It hurts like crazy. Like I wrestle a pretty safe style, and I'm like constantly working on my body and healing this, healing that. When one thing heals up, something else goes that you gotta kind of be mindful of. And so I will never forget that first bump I took at Harley Race's school, man. That like felt like I got hit with a sledgehammer. And from then on, it's just like, okay, this is the coolest thing and my favorite thing of all time. And also, it freaking hurts, man. So there's that. And then the other thing that really sticks out is I think people talk about it, but until you really live it, I think you get a different respect for it. But man, the miles on the road, all the time away from home, all the time in airports, all the time in the car, and just all that extra stress you have to deal with on the road. And I think Christian said this one time. He goes, man, I would wrestle for free, but I get paid the big bucks for all the travel, the airports, the cars, the hotels. Like that's what I get paid for. And that's like, that quote stuck with me because it's like, holy crap, that's spot on, man. All that stuff, because you're working so hard, you're traveling all over the place, late nights, early mornings, and then you might be in the ring for 5 minutes, you might be in the ring for 20 minutes, and then you're in the car for 8 hours, you're in the airport flying for 8 hours, whatever. Right? That's where the tough part comes in that I think people talk about, but until you really experience that, you don't have the respect for it that maybe it deserves.
See, and
True.
I agree with that so much because I tell people all the time, me and my stepbrother, we used to have all kinds of matches. I've never been trained, but I consider myself a safe worker.
Yeah.
Because I beat the snot out of my stepbrother all the time, and he never walked away with one injury. He's like 40 something, still got use of all his fingers and toes and everything.
Yep.
So he's good, and I'm telling you, I connected with a sweet chin or two. But
safe but snug.
Right. That's it. But yeah, and I agree because like just doing that, and making up your own matches as a kid, and I'm sure Uncle Slam's done it too and everything.
Oh yeah, I got a brother.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
Oh,
Especially if you could get like a bunch of friends in the neighborhood and put a little league together and everything, do your own little thing. People were doing that left and right, especially if you was a wrestling fan and had a trampoline and you weren't doing it, what was wrong with you? But yeah, like I would do it for free.
Yep.
Because I love doing it then. Why wouldn't I be in front of 20,000 people wanting to do it or, 200 people doing it and everybody cheering and yelling? So yeah, I can see where that would be, what hooks you and everything big time.
Yep.
I never thought about it that way.
Yep.
Uncle Slam, you got any questions? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. I got a couple real quick because we were talking earlier, and also like we just had a tournament talking about the greatest like heavyweight champion in the world.
Yep.
And like you had talked about, like charisma, like being one of the things that makes a great champ. What other qualities do you think makes a great world champion, and who would you consider the greatest world champ?
Ooh, I like that. Man, I think so. I'm gonna start this by saying I'm a little biased when it comes to this. I grew up in the Attitude Era, and so that was like my idea of what a professional wrestler should be is like larger than life. Okay. Right. So I'm gonna say like someone who has the big physique and can also like move and be agile in the ring, but like looks like not like someone you'd see bagging groceries, not like someone you'd see working at a bank or something. Someone who's just like you look and you do the double take, like what is that?
I'm getting Reacher vibes here.
Right, exactly. Like Alan Richardson's huge, man. I think he's like 250.
Yes.
But that sort of thing, that's one of the things I look for in that. And then the charisma And I think you have to be the total package with charisma. You have to have the look. You have to be able to talk. You have to be able to then back it up in the ring, because when you're a top guy, you got to be able to do the 25, 30 plus minute matches and keep people entertained from start to finish.
Yes.
From the time you walk out of that curtain, people have to just, you have to have that, this is going to be cliche, but that it factor, right? Like make people want to look at you. And so I think there's a lot that goes into it. And that's, please don't mistake me that I don't think anyone else should be the champion. That's just like my criteria and my preferences with like a true world champion, what I look for.
Yeah.
Right. You got you got to be able to do a little of all of it. You know,
Yep.
sell
Exactly.
tickets. You know, put the old cliche. Can you put asses in seats?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
You know what I'm
someone, I think another thing that's I think that one of the reasons I love Flair so much is that dude worked like every day almost for what, 20 some years straight.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, like I think that's the other thing too, that I've learned at this low indie level is like the people who you entrust with your heavyweight championship need to be able to go out and like talk to people and do interviews and do this and do that. Like the responsibility is exponential compared to just someone who's on the card.
Yes.
And so you have to have the kind of mindset where you can handle people and not freak out and like, you know, beat a fan up or something like that. So you also have to be kind of mentally sound to be able to do that, which is, I think, another part of it. But
You don't want to be Lex Luger on the Lex Express and getting mad about signing autographs. I mean,
Exactly.
that's just a key example, you know. And I think that's one thing that held him back so much is people knew he didn't like dealing with the fans. Well,
Yep.
sorry, you know, you were handed the next Hulk Hogan ship.
Yep.
And all you had to do was go out there and smile in front of the cameras. You can be the biggest jerk in the world when you go home.
Yeah.
But I like Hulk Hogan a lot better than I like Terry Bollea.
Right.
And I don't mean that in a bad way, but he kind of did it to himself and everything, you know, whatever, you know, that's a whole nother show. But, you know, that's just the way I look at it. Like you said, you got to be out there, be able to go out there and, you know, draw those fans in, whether they're cheering or booing.
Yep. Because, like, look at Cena. He's a perfect example of that more recently, right? Like,
Yeah.
all the Make-A-Wishes he did, all the talk shows he's done.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all the media he does is just, like, insane. And to be able to not burn out and do that, I think takes a lot of talent and just mental fortitude, right? So, those are some things I look for. But, man, for me, my favorite and I think the best world champion is Flair, right? I just, like, him going 60 minutes every night, you know, 6 days a week. For that long, and the way he made so many people feel and so many people hate him is incredible for that long, while really doing the same match, you know, a version of the same match over and over and over
Yes.
again.
And that's the thing. They loved him, but they also hated him.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was crazy because as you know, it all depended on who he was fighting.
Yep.
If he was fighting Ricky Steamboat, they hated him.
Yep.
If he was fighting Harley Race, they loved him.
Yep.
You know, and he had that Southeast. I mean, he had the world. You know, people don't realize that because it wasn't the monster that the WWE was or was becoming at the time. And you know, WWE was the first to go after the cable slots and everything, while, you know, NWA and stuff was still staying kind of regional, you know, like Memphis and all the other territories and stuff. But it was like, people don't realize how global that Ric Flair, and I'll give it a little bit to the Horsemen too, but the Ric Flair Dusty thing took them global.
Yeah.
You know, and then the Horsemen just added on to it because they were the ones that were keeping Dusty from getting over. You know, it was just, it was great. People, go back and do your history, people. I'm telling you, it's all there. Everything the WWE done, other people were doing too. I promise you, it's there.
Yep.
It's so funny you said that because during like we just had a tournament and it came down to Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair as the greatest world champions, and like Ric Flair won as the greatest world champion. So
no way.
I'm glad.
I knew.
Yeah.
And now we've got somebody from the West Coast, so that just legitimizes our tournament. And people were questioning it because we broke it up into different companies. 8 different companies, narrowed it down from there into the, you know, from the company champion. on down and everything. Well, the criteria I used to do the championship, unfortunately, Jimmy Garvin got into the conversation of greatest world champion of all time. No offense to
Hey,
Jimmy
gorgeous Jimmy's
Garvin.
great.
Yes, but I don't know about. I was like, look, guys, I'm sorry. Okay, I was like, I apologize. They were like, man, I don't know about this tournament now.
Yeah.
So look, even he said, okay, cool, Ric Flair. He said Ric Flair's the greatest. Ric Flair won. It's a legitimate tournament. Leave me
Now
alone.
you can say it's officially doctor
That's
approved.
it. Yes,
There you go.
yes. One out of, and the only doctor we've ever talked to on this show approves.
That's
So
right.
there you go, people. He's college educated, unlike me. So every wrestler has that moment where they kind of realize, I'm not just playing around anymore. I'm actually a professional wrestler. Like, where did that happen for you? Was that in the middle of a match, or was it like, oh, here it really it's happening?
That the one that sticks out is the first time I went and did extra work for WWE here in Arizona. We were walking in to the arena, and there, you know how fans kind of gather outside to watch the boys walk in, and there were a number of people that were shouting my name, and they're
Oh,
like,
cool.
"Oh, it's Class! Oh, it's Class! What's up, Class?" And I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." And
That's
so
awesome.
there was that, and then right around that same time, I pulled up to go to the gym, and someone, this is a weird coincidence, but they pulled up, like parked right next to me, and they were like, "What's up, man? You on the show? Like, you know, the local show next week?" And I was like, "Whoa!" So I got recognized twice in the matter of like a couple weeks, and so that was kind of like, okay, I like, if you're familiar with Arizona independent wrestling, I'm somebody.
That's awesome. See,
Yeah.
but that's what you shoot for. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I mean, even if your ultimate goal is to be in one of the major promotions, and which I've learned so much that there is no shame in not even attempting to look at those places.
Yeah.
You can make a beautiful career in professional wrestling and be just as much of a professional as Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair doing what he said, the independence. Just do what you love, and nothing. You can't go wrong if you do that.
Yeah.
It's just that's just the way it is.
What is the
I don't know.
indie scene like out in
Yes.
Arizona or whatever? Like, is it big? Is it really thriving, or is it just kind of getting started, or what?
Man, that's a great question. It's when I started, there was not much.
Hmm.
There was, so the place I trained the first year and a half I trained was a school called AWF, the Arizona Wrestling Federation, and that was pretty much it. And it's like it's a typical indie promotion, but there just wasn't much at the time. And since then, the Arizona Pro Wrestling Training Center has opened. That opened, gosh, 2019, and that's the school I'm very involved with, in training the kids and training for myself too. So that school has become very prominent. And then we have the Phoenix Championship Wrestling Show, which all the places I've been, man, like the professionalism, the crowds we draw are up there, right? So our baseline's 500 people that we get at each show,
Damn.
which is incredible. And so they've done such a good job of building up the local community and just being a part of the community and getting people interested and involved. And so we're certainly on the come up. Like, we're about to have our anniversary show in September. And last year, so we go to a bigger venue for these. Last year we had 1,700 people. This year we're expecting 2,000, right around there. Which on the Indies, wrestling at an
That's-
indie show in front of that
That's
many
big.
people,
Yeah,
is
that's
huge.
big. Yeah,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
So
And
it's
see,
cool.
Well, that's what I was saying. It really is awesome, and that's why I was talking about with AMW. They're doing that Corbin show, and it's like they're WrestleMania. They're throwing everything
Yep.
into it. So I'm glad to see that it's doing just as good out there as it is here, because Uncle Slam and I have fallen in love with indie wrestling.
Yeah.
A year and a half ago, me and him would have been sitting at one of our houses talking about WrestleMania or something, watching it together, and being like, "Man, did you know there's a show over in Richmond and everything?" Be like, "Man, I ain't going to that stuff at the Armory."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now I'm like, "Man, I'm going to the stuff at the Armory. Okay, SummerSlam's on, so what? I'm
Yeah.
going to the stuff at the Armory."
Exactly. And one of the coolest things we hear at our shows at the local ones at Phoenix is I'll give an example from 2 shows ago. There was and this is like Don Vitale, he's kind of the owner operator, um, you know, authority figure for the shows too. And he goes out and talks to people, right? And so we get a lot of first timers come into the shows because the kids who are new in the school, part of it's doing, going to farmers markets and flyering, going to wrestling, WWE, AEW events and flyering, and like talking to people and handing the flyers out and stuff. And so we had a dad and his kid who went to our show for the first time, and they had just gone to Raw for the first time. And they were telling him, like, man, we had so much more fun here than at Raw. And I'm not saying that we're anywhere close to that, but the difference is there's 500 people and it's an intimate place that we wrestle. It's the crowd's electric throughout, and it's 2 hours of nonstop action, and it's $25 for a ticket, right? Versus however much you're spending at Raw, and all that time you're sitting there waiting for the commercials to get by and stuff, So for just a 2 hour piece of entertainment, it's tough to beat the indies, right? Or even 3 hours on some cases. But you get wrestling, you get to see a ton of different characters, and it's just a much more intimate environment most times than you're going to get at the big arenas. It's different. And so for that, I always try to put the indies over, man, because there's a lot of good talent out there that is a lot of fun to follow and watch.
Yes.
It's like you took the words right out of our mouth. Like we say that all the time, how reasonable the indies are. You can take your family out, have a good time, a couple hours, like pretty much like forget about your problems and still have money left over. You're not going to a WWE show, breaking the bank, having to, sell a kidney or some shit, just to see a show because it costs $500 or $600 for a decent seat or something like that. And then,
100%.
And then especially nowadays, times are a little tough right now, like money doesn't go as far, and everybody's looking for a good value. And like you said, just be able to get close, it's more intimate. The fan experience, it's just so much better with the indies than it is like if you go to a WWE show.
Yep, 100%. And for kids, man, I would tell people this who maybe aren't familiar with wrestling, and I'm trying to talk them into coming to a show. It's like, where else in the entire world can you go and like scream absolute profanities at the talent, and that's expected, and that's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
right?
Exactly.
And then like you're like get other people to join in with you. Like I don't know how many times I've had 6-year-old kids flipping me the double bird, and I'm like, where are your parents? And I look up and the dad's right behind him giving me the double bird too. Like how fun is that?
It's okay this time, son.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's a real piece of shit.
That's it. And that's my daughter. I tell people this all the time. His nephew, man, they love it. They ask, when's the next one? When's the next one? My daughter, she likes Rhea Ripley, Charlotte, and I can't remember who the other woman wrestler is. But after that, she doesn't watch anything major.
Sure.
When they're on TV, she'll watch them. She may not sit down and watch their whole match, but she'll watch them. When we go to a show for Elite Wrestling Alliance, she's up at the guardrail.
Yep.
Every match, screaming, yelling, sticking that hand out, making signs, sticking them up. The other day, it was hilarious. It was hilarious. And you can attest to this because you've been on the other side of it. But she was standing at the guardrail and had a sign up, and a wrestler snatched it, and it ripped or something like that. She just turned around and looked at me and was like, are you going to do something? And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not getting beat up because you were screaming in somebody's face. But look behind you, and he's sitting there going, get out, blah, blah. And she loves it. And the other thing that makes it great too is after the show, stick around 5 minutes and you might get to shake a hand or two for free.
Yep.
My
Exactly.
daughter has a shirt of nothing but autographs. I told her, I was like, I've stopped getting autographs because people are going to think we're just trying to sell this stuff on eBay or something. But yeah, it's beautiful how intimate it is and everything. Because I don't know, it's just there's something so different about the atmosphere.
Yeah.
You know,
100.
you all do a great job of. To me, you all involve the audience way more than any WWE superstar can.
Sure.
It's easy for 20,000 people to yell if you smell what The Rock is cooking because you said it 15 times on TV.
Yep.
But how many people are you getting to scream your name or your tag team's name or your partner's name just because you all walked out the door? No, it's not, 20,000 people, but it's a genuine reaction. It's not a programmed reaction, if that makes sense.
Exactly. Yep.
You know,
It's
those
it's
shows program you to say catchphrases. They're
yep.
going to say yours if you get it over.
Exactly. And
And
it's a lot, it's like an organic build, right? Because most of the indies don't have the luxury of running on a weekly basis on TV to where if you can't go to the show, you're watching, right? So
yep.
like indies, it's like, okay, like we at Phoenix Championship Wrestling, we run 6 shows a year. So there's so much time to forget what happened on the last show. But then when you're getting over with the crowd, they remember you because they remember how you made them feel the last time, right? But that takes time to build that. But then when you got it, you got it,
Yes.
at that local spot. But it is a lot different than streamlining the same catchphrase 100 times on TV.
Mm-hmm.
It's just different flavors of ice cream, to quote Dr. Tom.
And that's what I love about it. Yeah, I can't. I could go on and on about just how much I've become a fan of the Indies. Man, we could have several shows on that.
Yep.
But I want to get on to something else here. I want to talk about your tag team a little bit.
Yes.
So, how did the team come together, and when did you realize that the two of you could actually create something really special as a tag team? Because I'll be honest with you, I'm very critical of anybody that wears the name Express because I'm a huge Midnight Express
Yep.
fan. That's probably my favorite tag team of all time,
Yep.
and it just. And I'm just joking around about the Express thing, but no, where did that name come from too? I have to ask that too. But go ahead, I'll let you take it.
Yeah, so this is it's a fun story when Devin and I are on a podcast together. But so I had been in the business for I don't know 4 or 5 years at the time, and he started training at the Arizona Pro Wrestling Training Center, and we started developing a relationship. Like I started bringing him on the road with me and stuff, and we just became friends. Like there was one night I drove to a show in Fresno, California. So from here it's 10 hours, and I brought him with me, and I was so impressed by him because when I was coming up and I was riding with the vets in the car, I was racking my brain at all costs to think of everything I could ask them to learn as much as I possibly could about wrestling. And so I would sit there in the car and be pissed at myself when I was out of questions. And I was like Googling stuff and like just asking terrible questions just to ask something and keep the conversation going. So like in my head, that's how you do it. If you really want to do something with wrestling, you have to learn everything there is to learn. And so
Yes.
I've been bringing people on the road at that point for quite a while. And he was the first person. So on that first time I took him to Fresno, I drove, 5 hours on the way home. It's 3 a.m. at this point. We still have another 5 hours to go. And he hops in the front. And he's like, let me take over when you need it. And I was like, cool. And he just started asking me questions. And we talked nonstop for the next 5 hours all the way home. And he asked me every question he could think of. And I was like, okay, cool. He like really wants it. This is awesome. And so from then our relationship kind of continued and we in building and stuff. And then in 2022, I had to take about a year off. I had to get shoulder surgery. And at that time, he was then starting to travel a little bit more. And so in my absence, all the promoters are like, you know who you remind me of? You remind me a lot of Class, right? And so, and he, in his mind, like, again, it's great when we tell it together, but he's like, oh no, I think they're going to want to put us together. Class is on this great singles run. He's going to be pissed that he's in a tag team now. And so all these different promotions are like, yeah, when Class is back, we're going to put you guys together and see how that goes. And so I come back. We are from our first match. It was like, okay, yep, there's something here. And then it just kind of took off from there. But with the Pretty City Express name, so I live in Scottsdale, which is like fancy, very ritzy, upscale area in Phoenix. It's like the nicest place to live in Phoenix. And so a nickname for Scottsdale is the Pretty City because vanity is a huge, huge part of Scottsdale.
Okay.
Everyone is in shape. Everyone's tan. Everyone looks good. Everyone has like the Botox and the feel like everyone's beautiful here.
Oh,
And
I'm gonna
so
stand out like a sore thumb, man.
you'd be a celebrity here. You'd be a throwback.
Like, who is that? Get him out of here. There's a lot
So
of desert, buddy. You better get out of town.
yep. So Pretty City Express comes. So Pretty City is a nickname for Scottsdale, and then the Express is an ode to the Midnight Express, our
Okay.
favorite tag team and probably the most influential team that helped us get to where we're at as far as like influences. So that's where it came from, and that's the style we try to embody as well. Is just excellent in ring work, excellent psychology, and yeah. And then for some reason, people just love to hate us. So
I think it's great because that's one thing that I think made them great, and I'm gonna have to hit you up too to find out where I can watch some of y'all's matches and stuff and everything, and of course I'll shoot it over to Uncle Slam too, because especially if you all are Midnight fans. But that's what I loved about the Midnight. So and I want to ask you, like, to me, they were a team that it wasn't about necessarily. One, they worked on good double team moves that weren't the normal double team moves. But the biggest thing I think they worked on was those moves are going to be useless if we don't have timing with each other. We got it, whether we're, part of training is getting in the ring and just running through it with each other. I mean, how does that influence your all's style? Like, more, is it more timing or is it more like power? Or
there's a lot of timing with it. There's certainly some power that comes with it too. Like I for the indies, I'm a bigger guy and he's as wide as I am and maybe an inch shorter, right? So he's a big guy too. We're both over 6 feet tall. I'm 235 pounds. He's 225 pounds. We're both bigger guys, and so that's certainly part of it. But the timing is everything, and that's something that I have absolutely loved about traveling with him. And like, we're great friends outside of wrestling too, and so the cool thing to watch evolve as the tag team was our nonverbal communication in the ring. So like, I can see what he's doing and know exactly where I need to be and vice versa. Right. So that's where timing is such a huge part of it. And that makes for a better match too, because if I can kind of read his mind and know where he wants to go, I can put myself in the right position to where that idea works out flawlessly and looks like it was supposed to, But if we didn't have that timing, then that's where it gets clunky and that's where things get a little messed up and you look like you have two left feet. But we certainly didn't start there. Like, it took a little bit to get that timing and get that feel for each other in there. But I think certainly the last 2 or 3 years, it's just been like on full force, which has been so fun.
That's awesome. And I love to hear people, because I'll be honest with you, and Uncle Slam, I'm pretty sure he agrees with this too. I don't want to speak for him, of course, but tag team wrestling is such a lost art form.
Yes, 100%.
I miss it so bad because it's like every tag team match you get now, especially in the big time promotions, is some
They even have tag team anymore?
right. When they show the tag team division 3 times a year,
Yep.
it's like, okay, we're going to put an actual tag team against a thrown together tag team that the thrown together tag team's going to win the tag team championships. They're going to hold them for a month or something like that. And then the next big tag team is going to come and beat them up and take them from them because they're going to get into a fight. And then that next big tag team that wins them is going to disappear.
Yep.
And it's just like, no, man, I want to see tag teams every single week. I want to see a tag team division.
Yep.
It's beautiful wrestling when it's done right, and it's just so lost
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah, it really is, man. And like you got to remember too with tag team, there's 5 people involved, right? There's 2 on each side, and then you have the ref. So you have so many more variables to tell a much more complex and different story than a singles match. And if you have a good tag team match on a card, that's something that's completely different and unique. And I think our theory is that because WWE specifically is just like so poo poo on tag teams, I think that kind of like trickles down to a lot of the indies where there's just not a huge value on a lot of tag teams. And so we absolutely love the Midnights, absolutely love the Fantastics, the Rock and Roll, FTR, like teams like that, the Bulldogs, et cetera, et cetera. That stuff was incredible. And if you have a good tag team match, in my opinion, there's nothing like it. It's so different and has the potential to be as good, if not better, in my opinion, than good singles matches.
Yes, I
Yeah,
tell you,
totally.
a tag team I fell in love with, and recently that I fell in love with, and I'm lucky to be fans with him. I'm a fan. He's not a fan of me. Let's not confuse things. I mean, I'm not saying he hates me or nothing like that, but as
I
far as
gotcha.
fandom, yeah. But no, he's a pretty good guy. He's talked to me a couple times, and we've talked about possibly trying to have him on the show. But the Country Gentleman,
Oh, yep.
I love Casey and AJ. The first time I watched them, when I found out NWA was back on TV, I went. I was searching Roku like it wasn't nobody's business,
Yep.
and started watching them. The first tag team I saw watching NWA was the Country Gentlemen, and I was
Yep.
like, man, there's just something about them.
They're great, man.
Yes.
We worked them in February. And just absolutely it was awesome. Like those guys are pros, man. They're
Okay,
great.
I'm definitely gonna have to get that match, and how do I watch that match from you? Because yeah, it's got me now. I'm excited. Pretty City Express versus the Country Gentleman.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
that's see to me that's marquee. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's not forget the Hogans and Andres. I want that. I mean, I'm just a fan. I don't know. I can't help it.
Yep.
But all righty, well, let's get on to a little bit of other stuff and everything. I keep babbling and everything. Let's see here. Out of all the places you've wrestled, is there one opponent or match or venue that stands out as like a turning point in yours and your tag team's career? Before you answer that, hold on just a second. I don't know if you all are kind of in the same area. Do you know Warhammer?
I believe Warhammer and I have each other on social media. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, he said that's main event names right there. Yeah, Warhammer helped us. He was like our first interview from Texas, and he helped us decide the greatest world heavyweight champion and everything. He came on the show and everything.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He said that's main event names right there. Yes, it is. I agree 100%.
What's up, Warhammer?
But yeah, he comes in here all the time. We love Warhammer, man. We've had some good time, man. I will tell you, I don't want to babble on too much because this is your time. But you got to go back a couple. The episode he was on was the NWA and what was the other one? AWA
Yeah.
brackets, and
Ooh.
we had. I don't know if you know who Professor Bear is.
No.
He's from the Wrestling Society Network. And then we had Bobby Blade on, the 5-time Hall of Famer. I'm sorry, I have to do that. He gives me hell every time he comes on the show. I love it though. He cuts a promo on me, and I'm just like, do it again. But
Yeah.
but yeah, we had a Dusty Idol off.
Ooh. Okay.
And I mean, me and Uncle Slam, we sat back and between Professor Bear, Bobby Blade, and Warhammer, man, the clips are all on Facebook too. Go check them out. It's hilarious, man. I sat back and died laughing at these guys doing Dusty Rhodes. It was great, absolutely great. He said I said it wrong.
Oh, yep. There it is.
All righty. Well, moving on. Yeah, out of the places you've wrestled, is there one like opponent, venue, match that stands out as like the turning point in your career and the tag team's career?
You know, something that so like we've talked about, Devin and I really have worked in all areas in the Southwest, and that's kind of That's kind of been our loop for the last few years. And last, almost exactly a year ago, we went out to the Northeast to work a couple matches at Wrestling Open, so Beyond Wrestling up there in New England. And we know that that is just a complete hotbed for talent, right? Like everyone out there is really good. And so that was a time for us where like we felt like we were really putting it together and had, kind of our thing down. And so we were excited to go out there and do a few matches with the talent out there and see like, okay, do we stack up? How do we stack up? How can we blend these styles? And we were able to successfully go out there and have a couple incredible matches with the talent out there. Some of the great, best talent in the on the indies. And so that was a time it was like, okay, we're doing well in this area, but like, how well are you outside of this? That was kind of always the question that was floating over our head. And so, man, going out there really just like helped us with confidence and going, okay, we're on the right track with things, and we have a good ability to kind of blend different styles with what we want to do and make it make sense inside the ring. And so, like the first night we did Wrestle Open runs every Monday and Thursday. We did their Monday show, we were the opener, and then the Thursday show, we were the semi-main, right? So it was like, okay, cool, these guys got it. Let's put them in a more featured spot, and we were able to have 2 great matches out there. So that was a time that really sticks out recently of like, okay, it's kind of confirmation, like, yeah, all right, we're on to something here. We know what we're doing a little bit.
Okay, that's awesome. So what you're saying is, we need to, guys, everybody here in Kentucky, look. Pretty City Express. Yeah, you bring them on to Kentucky, man. We'll go watch them and everything. Yeah,
let's do it. Let's do it.
Yes, for real. Yes, we'd love to see you come here. Well, I was going to say too, I'm planning here on next couple of years. I'm going to take a road trip out to Tombstone, Arizona, because of the fact that I'm a huge fan of the movie. I love Val Kilmer. Plus just the story of the gunfight and everything. But yeah, so I'm planning on taking a road trip out there and just seeing that and everything, taking about a week or whatever, just driving.
Tombstone, it's cool, man. It's worth checking out, especially if you're a fan of the movie and like the history of it. It's a cool spot.
Okay.
Yeah, I would recommend it if you have the opportunity to do it.
Okay, well, so I don't stick out like a sore thumb, I'll hit you up and we'll meet on the outskirts of Scottsdale. So I'm not the weird guy walking down the street. Look at him, man. He didn't have a 6-pack. He brought the whole keg.
Yeah. He's got love for everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't you mean fly down there, not drive down there?
No, I'm not flying. I'm not flying anywhere.
That's why I said that, because I was like, I know he hates flying and shit. Like,
these ain't wings, man. They don't.
Land-based animal.
That's exactly right. I got feet for a reason. Feet, no feathers. So, let's see here. I'm trying to think of another good question I got here and everything. Man, I'm enjoying talking to you for real. It's really awesome, man. And like I said, as far as I'm concerned, and Uncle Slam, I know he'll probably say it too. You're more than welcome. Come back anytime you want to. And we'll definitely have to have you back whenever you and your partner can come on. Because I didn't even think about it. I've had a busy couple of weeks, and when I had you it scheduled and everything, I wasn't even thinking that I'm sitting here making a flyer that says one half of the tag team Pretty City Express. I was like, well, we've got him on the show. I never thought, well, why don't we ask his partner to come on too? So it's no offense to you, Devin. As a matter of fact, that's my oldest son's name. So see, there you go. We got to have you back and everything. We'll
I got a couple questions if you if you need a chance to kind of think legend.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, okay, let's see. First one is heel or baby face. Which one do you like being better?
So, man, I just go out there and I try to be me, and it's interesting. I've had 3 matches in my entire 10-year career where I have not been booed when I go out through the curtain. 3 matches. I know exactly. I was once in Mexico, and then twice at the last 2 times at Duke City. They switched on us, and now they're cheering us. But I've always been just absolutely instantly hated. So that's been my experience with wrestling. I'm trying to set a good example, man. I'm trying to look, you can chase your dreams, and be successful on the side too. You could be a doctor, you could do this, you could be good looking, you could be tan, you could be in shape, and people just don't like to hear that. So my experience has been almost exclusively a heel the entire time.
That's awesome.
I think
we
heels
got-
have more fun anyway. I mean,
Oh,
honestly, like I
yes.
think it's more fun to be a heel than it is to be a baby face.
I think so. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I can go out there and really like let my emotions be on my sleeve, and then kind of riff back and forth with the whoever I'm working with or the fans. Like, it's a lot of fun.
Well, I have a comment and a question from a fan, from a member, well, whatever these people are, viewers. I can't talk tonight. Sorry, it's a Friday.
It's late.
Right. Well, I'll be up another 400 hours. But so JD, friend of ours from Mayhem Media, that's another podcast guy. He may want to try to have you on. Everything. He's a good guy.
Great.
Friend of ours. Yeah, we'll hook you up with a few people that we know out here, man. Get your name around out here too, man. We don't care to help. That's what we're here for. That's the thing, and this is to all the podcasters and everybody in this business. There's enough pie for everybody to have a slice.
That's right.
We don't have to hinder each other, man.
Yep.
This business is at the highest it's probably ever been as far as money making wise. There's no reason everybody shouldn't be walking away with a good chunk of change in their pocket all the time.
100%.
That's just my opinion. But anyways, we'll get to JD's question. Well, his comment first. He said, I love tag matches and think a good tag division is important to success for any wrestling company. 100% agree.
I'm with you. Agree.
But he said he wants to know, what are you guys doing differently to be able to get that many people to come out?
Oh, at our Phoenix
At your
shows. It's such a testament to, like I said, Don Vitale and then John Wolfgang they're the two that kind of own the company and are the leaders of it. But they do such a good job of reaching out to a lot of different people. So they do like shows for like police officer benefits, right? They do shows they just did a Make-A-Wish show for a bunch of Make-A-Wish kids. Like, they're very involved in the community and going out and doing just old school community outreach, right? Boots on the ground sort of thing. And then it's that. So it's like putting all the legwork in on the front end with, like I said, the flyering, talking to people, just reaching out to all the people and hearing no a lot of times, but being successful when you hear that yes, right? And so it's that, and then it's also putting out a quality product. That's if we were, not great wrestlers and didn't have good talent on the rosters, people wouldn't be as likely to come back once we actually get them through the door. And so there's a pretty good vetting process for people who are brought in there. And then if you're a local talent that's come through the school and come through the system, you have to be pretty good to get on the show. And so the quality of the work is incredible. And then the presentation's getting better all the time. Like, I think a year ago now, we got a big, like a big truss to go around the ring with lighting on it. That just, it took it to another level as far as the actual presentation goes. And so there's a lot that goes into it, man. And there's a team of people that are just working tirelessly to reach out to the community. The school's firing on all cylinders, producing talent that's credible. And then there's all the, other stuff that goes into it with the lights and the cameras and this and that. So, man, they're doing a lot. And I think one other thing that I think is important and that they really value is not oversaturating with the shows, right? So if we ran every single week, we wouldn't be having minimum 500 people at a show. And so they were really, really smart and strategic about that's where we'd like to go eventually, but let's not get too big for our britches. Let's really build up that fan base so that we can start eventually doing more once that's really, really well established.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man, because it sounds like you all are doing big things out there. And that, again, guys, support this independent stuff, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Listen to me. I don't know much, but I figured this out in a year and a half. Trust me.
Yep.
So the wrestling business, of course, everybody knows it's changed a whole lot with, the pulling back of the curtain and everything a long time ago. What do you think today's wrestling industry is doing better than it did in the past? And what do you think the past did better than what we're doing nowadays? And I'm sorry, I shouldn't say what we're doing because I'm not doing anything but sitting behind the mic and talking. What people like him are doing. I mean, I try to give the respect where the respect's due.
Like we said, hey, real quick, like we said earlier, this is a huge part of it now. Is you guys gave me a platform to then hopefully connect with some new people who'd never heard of me before. So this is a very big part of it. But man, I think what a lot of people have figured out now, and it's going a lot better, is just the like being more health conscious, right? Like I think locker rooms, we kind of alluded to it earlier, but I think there's less like people carrying guns with themselves to the locker rooms,
Yeah.
and like it's just kind of a safer. People are more health conscious, right? Like a lot of us are going to the gym, like going to sleep so we can go to the gym in the morning instead of going out all night and having fun and doing all that and then showing up to the next day missing the gym and feeling like crap. So it feels like it's a lot more health conscious. And I think this is one thing that, from what I've understood about WWE now, is it's a lot more wrestler friendly, the schedule, right? So people can have a little more time with their families and it's a lot more sustainable, it sounds like. And I think like everything, it's going to trickle down into the indies a little bit. So I really appreciate that part of it now. But man, the thing for me, being a big fan of the older stuff, is I think I don't love the pulling back of the curtain. I think that's where we're at, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So let's roll with it. But man, like it's just a lot of the mystique is gone. I think like with everyone kind of knowing a lot of the inner workings, and I think there's something to that, right? Like if I got so lucky to see, I don't know, we'll say The Rock in an airport. Oh my God, like I would have like dropped to the ground and fainted probably. But now I can see him every day on social media, which is awesome. And I love that. But it's like you kind of feel like these people because they're so involved with social media, which is part of it. There's less mystique, in my opinion, than there was back in the 90s and before. So I think that's something that I think the cat's out of the bag. We can't fix it. All we can do is lean into it and work with it. But that's something that I kind of, I don't want to say miss because I wasn't a part of it, but I wish I was around earlier so I could have been a part of that.
Yeah, kayfabe.
I don't mind it that it got pulled back. I just wish it hadn't got pulled back so much.
Yeah.
Because even as, and of course you had the older people who didn't understand the difference in calling it fake and scripted.
Sure.
I mean, I think they meant the same thing. I don't think a lot of them meant, anything negative. But I think when you call it fake like that, you discredit all the bruises. You discredit your shoulder surgery. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. It's not fake. It's definitely scripted, and we know that because, the curtain got pulled back. And that's where I think they just went too far with it. Yeah. Instead of just slowing down and saying, okay, you're letting it out of the bag because the suspicion was always there. How do you hit somebody with a crescent wrench and not go to jail for, attempted murder, But at the end of the day, how does, Anthony Hopkins do the same thing in that movie that you just watched too? It was about suspending that disbelief, and it's harder to suspend it now.
Yep.
I think the difference is it's changed from that to respect of the athletes.
Yep. And I think that suspending the disbelief part, I think that's something that's still achievable. And so, in my opinion, something that makes an incredible match is when somebody's so glued to what's happening, they forget to look at their phone and they're just like locked in, right? Because they're like either what's going to happen or I'm so invested in hating this person or loving this person that I can't look away because I want to see the exact moment when they hit their move and they win, right? Yes. And so I think, a lot of matches, whatever the level, are not doing that, but the great ones are, right? They're suspending that disbelief, or they're getting you so emotionally invested that you can't look away and you just need to be a part of it. And I think that's one of the really cool parts about, and one of the challenges about like the spot we're at in wrestling with the curtain pulled back. It's like, okay, how can you look at this whole entire card, let's say on an indie show, and go like, yeah, that was whatever, but those guys, that was different. I don't know what that was, but that was different, and I loved it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Mhm.
It's just what stands out. It's stealing the show.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
you don't have to be the main event to steal the show. You know, you just have to go out there and do your job the right way and hope your partner does not your tag partner necessarily, but everybody. Hope it, and it's not always people's fault. Some people just don't gel. I think some styles just don't work good together. We've watched it in the past and stuff and
Yep.
everything, but that doesn't mean that it's bad. That either one is bad. It just doesn't work with each other.
For sure.
Flair Hogan.
For sure.
For some reason, it just didn't work the way we thought it was going to. It wasn't the blockbuster. Let me catch up on some of these comments, and then we'll start winding down a little bit with you. I don't want to keep you all night long, but like I said, I appreciate you coming. And I mean, I'm not saying we got to get out of here. We'll talk until we just kind of cut it, but I ain't got but a few more questions for you. So I figure we catch up on this. But again, I appreciate you coming, man. We've loved talking to you. I've loved talking to you.
Yeah,
I've
this
loved
is
learning
awesome.
about out there. We will definitely set you up with some people. Well, I was looking on Facebook. You're friends with a few people that we know. Of course, it's probably social media type stuff, some of it, but you're friends with Professor Bear. I don't know if you know who that is. And then Wes Barker, the prospector.
Yep.
Yeah.
I met Wes when we were at NWA earlier this year, and he's great, man. We hit it off, and
Yes.
we've been communicating back and forth a little bit since. So yeah, Wes is awesome.
Yeah, I love Wes Death. Every time we see him at the show, man. And see, that's another thing. He plays such a good bad guy. But every time he's at the show, man, he shakes my hand and says, "Hey, how you doing?" Blah blah blah, and it feels welcoming.
Uh-huh.
And that's again, I'm not as far as this goes. I'm not going to speak for Uncle Slam. He can tell everybody his own experience. But for me, to grow up as a kid, it's an honor to me to have any of you all who are doing this thing that I wished I could have done to tell me that I'm a part of you all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just like, wow. It's a dream come true.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So for that, thank you. I appreciate it because that's one thing we try to pride ourselves with our show is that we want a legit show. Yes, it's unscripted, it's unfiltered. Say what you want to say, but we're all going to walk away doing that right there, smiling and appreciating and understanding each other's opinion, and we're not going to walk away hating each other because we're not promoting it. This is wrestling.
Yes, sir.
This is something that can bring people together that normally would not be standing in a crowd yelling and screaming for the same guy.
Yep.
And it's no offense, how many preppy kids and how many goth kids were sitting in a Raw crowd screaming and yelling for Stone Cold together or
Right.
The Rock. You know what I'm saying? But outside that place, they wouldn't have said two words to each other.
Yep. That's something, man, that like wrestling does such a good job at. A lot of times we'll be in a locker room and we'll like sit and look around at just all the completely different personalities that are in that locker room. And it's like, this is so cool. Like wrestling brought all of these completely different people together.
Yes.
And that's it. It's such a unique niche of a sport and an activity that appeals to all walks of life, and it brings everyone together in such a fun way. And then multiply that by times 20 when you look at the crowd of all the people that it brings in. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, that's like me and Uncle Slam. I don't think there's anything that we agree on. We've been friends for 30 years. We have been well, he's going to hear a change in me, man. I'm never buying Coke again. But that's a whole other thing, man. It's Dr. Pepper now. Hey, Dr. Pepper, you need to see. It's even in the Pepsi bottle, not the Coke
Dr.
bottle.
Pepper, so it's all right. Like I said,
See, sponsor us. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, shameless plug there. But yeah, he's Brett. I'm Sean.
Sure.
He's Lakers. I'm Celtics.
Sure.
He's Philly. I'm Patriots.
yeah.
It's just There is no compromise on anything. He's Kentucky. I'm Louisville.
Yeah.
It just how we are friends and have been friends for 30 years makes no sense except for
Wrestling.
one thing: wrestling,
Wrestling.
and the fact that we just agreed that we can be friends and disagree and not walk away hating each other because we're adults.
I love that. That's so
It's
cool.
just that simple, But, anyways, let me get caught up on these real quick and then we'll get these last few questions to you. He said, tell him he can come to Mayhem Media anytime as well. This is a great episode. That's our buddy JD from Mayhem Media.
Thanks, JD. You're the man.
Warhammer, we just got get over it. Don't matter, heel or face. Yes, yes, sir.
Preach.
Yeah, JD said East Coast. I know it throwing up gang signs over here in our chat. Not really, YouTube. I'm just joking. Don't flag us. Anyways, we got flagged. I don't know if you know Tiffany Baxter, the Conspiracy Smoke Show.
No.
She is starting to train. She lives in Louisville, Kentucky. She's an awesome person. We had her on the show a couple weeks ago. I don't even know what happened, man. I think it's just because her name was the Conspiracy Smoke Show, but they flagged that. Only 18 people 18 years old or older can watch it.
Oh.
I was like, that's crazy.
Really?
That's all right. It shows me we're on that edge, unscripted.
Well,
See?
edgy.
It's
Right. Yeah, now you're edgy.
That's it.
New demographic.
That's it. Okay. Mayhem said great ideas for the indie companies. I love the whole answer. Sorry, I'm a little late on getting to these. I get into the conversation and I forget that these are on here. Just a big hammer with me. Ha ha. No, you ain't right. 9 major injuries in 1 year for me last year. That's crazy, man. Yeah, heal up, man. It's yeah, take care of yourself, Warhammer, man. We appreciate everything you do. One's peanut butter, the other jelly.
Yes, sir.
Let's see, Warhammer, hit us up. We'd love to have you on an episode as well. Mayhem Media, there you go. Get you over here on the West Coast or East Coast. Look, I don't even know where I am, people. It's Friday. I'm
We're just
here.
here right now.
That's it. We're in the here and the now.
That's right.
All righty, let's see. What is one thing you're still trying to improve about your wrestling right now?
Ooh. Yeah, so I think what I'm always trying to get better at, I think I'm never going to be Dean Malenko, or at least I'm telling myself that. So like, I think my fundamentals are pretty sound, but there's always room for improvement. And I just think that it's like building a house, right? If you have a crappy foundation, the house isn't going to stand for very long. So I wouldn't say that I'm a character-based wrestler necessarily. So I don't have that to stand on as much as someone else who might. So I need my fundamentals to be great. And so that's something I'm always working on. That's a big part of like what I do when I go to training is just footwork and making sure everything's good there. And then also, I think just being able to be in the moment as much as possible. That's something I've always tried to improve on, so I can hear what's going on, know where we're at in the ring, know where we need to go, know how I want to get there. And all this is happening mentally in a matter of seconds, and be able to react in the moment like that. I think that muscle is always, always, always worth training and getting better. So those are a couple things that I really try to focus on when I go to training and when I'm doing matches. Because it's such a big part of it. Like those in-betweens, man, it's everything.
Yes. I agree 100%. And see, that's me. That's like I reflect on this match a lot and everything, because you were talking about the footwork and everything. Anybody who wants to see a clinic in wrestling, go watch. I can't tell you the year, but it was a Halloween Havoc, Steven Regal and Davey Boy Smith. Anybody who wants to learn chain wrestling, go watch that match. It was beautiful. There was like 5 minutes of I was just like, what? I was like, what just happened right there? I was like, how did they switch and get, bam? And it was like 4 or 5 times in a row they switched and had each other in the same move. And it was all the way around the ring. And I was like, what in the world just happened?
Yep.
I seen it, but what happened?
Yep. There's if these were probably like 10 years ago, but there was two matches from NXT takeovers. It was American Alpha against the Revival, so FTR,
Hmm.
right? And they had these, they're two of my favorite matches of all, tag team matches of all time, and really matches of all time. Man, you watch those, they didn't do anything crazy. They didn't do anything that's like impossible for anyone to do. But the fundamentals, the footwork, the in-betweens, everything is so absolutely crisp. And so like that's how you make those little basic things that we learn early on in a wrestling training mean something and look spectacular, because the footwork is there, the movements are tight and locked in, and that, like, to me is everything. That's the foundation I was talking about, right? Like those guys, American Alpha was pretty new at that point, but they were able to have these incredible matches because their fundamentals were sound, and they were working with guys who are right now absolutely the best tag team in the world. So it, like, that's the stuff I'm talking about. It's just like making sure everything's tight and locked in, and it's so fun to watch. I think it's like NXT Takeover Dallas, and then maybe the other one's Brooklyn. I don't remember which year, but go watch those two matches if you like tag team wrestling. They're absolutely incredible.
Okay. See, I liked American Alpha, and
Yeah,
I'm so glad Chad Gable's finally getting his flowers,
I
man.
know.
Chad Gable's a beast, man. He
Yep.
is, and I hate comparing people like this, but you always see the reflection of some people in people,
Yep.
and I see that reflection of a smaller, and I won't use the poor man. I hate that term because
Yeah.
nobody is anybody's poor man. They're their own man. If we're talking about them, they've done something,
Yep.
but you see the reflection of the style, and he is as close as we've ever seen. He is the Kobe to Michael of Kurt Angle.
Yeah, nailed it. I agree.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that.
And,
Me
and
too.
that's the best way I can describe it. And there's other people like that too, But it's just, and I don't think that's derogatory or anything. Like I feel like Dolph Ziggler is the Kobe to Shawn Michaels
Yep.
is Michael.
Yep.
It just, that's the way it is. It's just but it's beautiful, and it's, they can be their own person too. I don't know. It bugs me when people use the thing poor man.
Yep.
Nobody's poor man.
Yep.
Well, let's see. Mayhem said, "Love it, Warhammer." Yeah, we'll have to hook you up with the Mayhem Media.
Yeah.
All righty. So I'm going to ask you this last question, and then I'm going to do a little rapid fire with you real quick, and then I'm going to turn it over to Uncle Sam. He usually has a couple questions and everything. Like I said, we usually try to keep everybody about an hour and a half if we can, if it's a good conversation and everything. We don't like to cut anything short, let it flow.
Cool.
So we appreciate you being here and everything, but we also don't want to keep you all night. It's a Friday night, and it's Scottsdale, Arizona. I'd be out doing something if I'm just telling you. I mean, not in this body. Start doing a little bit of this more.
Life of the party.
Little of this more instead of
Yeah.
a little of this more.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Work on
But
that.
Yeah.
that's it. But yeah, if you could pick, and this is no offense to your tag team partner because you guys are doing, wonderful, but we're going fantasy booking.
Okay.
If you could pick any tag team from wrestling history to step into the ring with the Pretty City Express, who would you choose and why? And kind of the B to that is, if you didn't have your tag team partner that you have, and you could pluck anybody out of time to be a tag team partner with, who would it be?
Ooh, I like the B. Okay. So my dream tag team match would be the Pretty City Express against the Fantastics.
Okay.
I like, everyone knows the Midnights and the Rock and Rolls. The Rock and Rolls are, top tag team of all time. For me, when I go back, I like watching the Fantastics a little bit more than the Rock and Roll Express. Mm-hmm. It's just a personal preference. I love the Rock and Roll Express, but man, I for some reason, Bobby Fulton and Tommy Rogers they're so fun to watch. I just love the dynamic. I love the strut. I pop every time for the strut. It's incredible. So I think Pretty City Express against the Fantastics would be a dream match, and especially because we've always been bad guys. and people just hate us. So I would say the Midnights, but sticking with I think what would be a good dynamic. I think us versus the Fantastics would be great.
We just became friends on our Facebook page with Mr. Fulton.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah,
awesome! Let's
yes,
go.
yes, it's great. It is awesome. Like I messaged him. If he wants to come on, I would love it, or at least discuss it. But hey, at least I'm friends. I'm not gonna say he's friends with him too. It's just it's crazy that we get to be friends, and talk to people like that. Sorry, go ahead
Yep.
with your B.
With the B, this one was a little tougher, but I think so. I'm a big fan of Mid South Wrestling. Like that's my favorite. If I was going to pick one promotion to watch forever, it would probably be Mid South Wrestling.
Okay.
I love it. So one of the things that I think a lot of people don't know about, one of the teams that a lot of people don't know about is the Rat Pack, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you had Ted DiBiase, you had it was Jim Duggan, right? I think, and then they brought in who was the other? They brought in a third. Oh, it was Matt Bourne. He became part of it too for a little bit. Their stuff is so good. So if I had to pick anyone, I would pick Ted DiBiase in his Mid-South early 80s era to be a tag team partner with. I think we would absolutely have to run out of town with our tail between our legs getting chased by a mob if him and I were teaming together.
That's a good pick.
Yes, I would have never. I would have never went there, man. But I like that pick because people forget he wasn't always the $1 million man.
He's so fun to watch in that era when he's Ted DiBiase. His stuff is crisp. Man, what a connection. Everything looked great. He's a big guy too, that although in the Mid-South, the land of the Giants, right? So he doesn't look like he's big, but man, he's huge. And like all that stuff he was doing there, whether it was with the Rat Pack or otherwise, was awesome. Like
he was deceivingly big like Barry Windham.
There you go. Yep, exactly. Yep.
You didn't realize how big he really was just because he wasn't a body guy.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he was big. I love Mid-South. I love it. See, this guy's great, guys. If you're watching this podcast and you got a podcast, hit him and his partner up. I'm telling you.
Pretty City Express.
He said 8-ounce curls. And he said, I met Ted. See, I need to do that one time. I need to do it. Well, yeah, I'd love to meet. I'm thankful for anybody I get to meet, but man, just there's certain people that it's just like from your childhood that you're like, man, it's you. I watched you every Saturday on Superstars, and you were kicking basketballs out from underneath kids' hands, and you were being a genuine ass.
Yeah.
And I did not like you, but it's cool to sit here and shake your hand.
Exactly.
And what other any form of entertainment can you do that? How can you walk up to you can't really walk up to Al Pacino and be like, you're an asshole, but I like that movie. He's gonna be like, yeah, get the hell out of my face.
Right? Yeah, you're arrested right there on the spot.
That's it. Ted DiBiase's gonna reach his hand out and be like, I'm glad I could do that for you, son. It's like,
only in wrestling. Only in wrestling.
Only in wrestling. It's great. All righty, I'm gonna hit you with a rapid fire real quick, and then we will. I'll hand it over to Uncle Slam real quick and let you get out of here. And again, thank you for being here. I do much appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, guys. This is awesome. I'm having a great time.
Yes, and anytime you want to come back, man. And I tell people, if you all have got anything going on, like big, shows or anything like that, and you want, even, I don't know if you all do pay-per-views or anything like that. So even if you do, man, let us know. We'll bring you on the show and let you, promote and everything, because we do topic-based shows too, you know what I'm saying? So we can bring you on for a topic and just talk stuff too and everything.
Perfect.
We're planning on revisiting our tag team tournament because we're going to do it the way we did the world title. Break it down by companies first and then down, because we only did like a mismatch of everybody the first time, so we want to kind of see if it would change anything, kind of do a revisit to it. So we'll get you in on one of those too, and your partner and everything. Devin, we have not forgotten you. But yeah, again, I appreciate you being here. I'm going to shoot these off to you and give it over to Uncle Slam.
Let's go.
Favorite wrestler of all time?
The Rock.
All right. Favorite tag team of all time?
Midnight Express.
All right. Favorite match you've ever watched?
Rock Hogan, WrestleMania.
Favorite wrestling promotion?
Ooh, WWF.
Dream opponent?
Dream opponent. Fantastics.
Dream tag team partner besides your current partner? Look, I already did this.
Indy Biasi from Mid South.
There you go. Okay. Favorite wrestling entrance?
Ooh, man, Edge. That song, the entrance, that's got to be up there for me.
Okay, well, I'll skip the next question unless it's going to be different. Best wrestling theme song.
Oh, yeah, it's got it for me. It's Edge. Yeah.
All right. Favorite finishing move?
Ooh, this one's tough because my favorite finishing move isn't a great finishing move, but it's the most electric move in sports entertainment. But
The
it's
people's
like
elbow.
the people's elbow. How can you beat that? It's so like the slide into it, the leg kicking, dropping down. For me, it's the people's elbow, but I know that's not the most like impressive or technically sound complicated move, but for me, that's it.
That is probably right up there with the worm and the
Yeah.
five knuckle shuffle.
Yeah.
Well, all righty. One wrestler you would love to share a locker room with. Not necessarily wrestle, just share the locker room with.
Share the locker room with. I got to go Flair, man. I know he's still like bopping around and doing his thing. I'd love to say Flair.
One wrestler you would not want to fight in a parking lot.
Oh, Harley Race.
Definitely.
Yeah,
We hear that a lot.
yeah, I bet.
Favorite city to wrestle in?
Ooh, I've had a lot of fun in Denver. They have a couple venues at Rocky Mountain Pro that are awesome, that are very rowdy, very fun. Crowds on top of you. Denver is the first one that comes to mind that I'd always look forward to.
All righty. Favorite road trip snack?
Ooh, this is a good one. So, favorite road trip snack, I do for carbs, I do the popcorners. They're clean, they're pretty healthy. There's 3 ingredients, the good source of carb, and then for protein, the Core Power protein shakes, and then you got to have an energy drink in there. So my favorite right now are the Gorilla Mines.
All righty. Who controls the music on the road?
Whoever's driving.
Okay, fair. Who is more likely to get lost on the way to a show?
Devin. You would say the same thing.
Who talks more, Christopher or Devin?
Devin.
All right. Who's more likely to start an argument in the locker room?
Devin.
Favorite cheat meal after a match?
Ooh. Him and I were just talking about this today, actually. My favorite cheat meal is like pizza, but the issue with pizza is it takes my body like a week to recover from eating a pizza. So I'm bloated, my skin breaks out. The most efficient cheat meal is for me is getting a bigger plate from Panda Express. I'm recovered, I'm looking normal the next day, and it's satiating enough to where I'm happy about it. So I'm gonna go Panda Express, bigger plate, orange chicken, Beijing beef, the noodles, and probably honey sesame chicken.
Okay, why am I getting something to eat after the show?
Yeah. And orange chicken's good too, man. I
I know
love
it.
orange chicken.
I
So
know
good.
it. So if you weren't a professional wrestler, what would you be doing?
Well, I'd probably just be a psychologist. What I'm also doing on the side.
Easy answer. All
Yeah.
right. One word to describe Pretty City Express.
Goats.
One word to describe yourself.
Incredible.
Biggest dream you haven't accomplished yet.
Wrestling and being signed for WWE.
If you could wrestle one match tomorrow against anyone in the wrestling history, who is it?
Is this singles or tag?
Do both.
Okay, so tag, Fantastics. Singles, The Rock.
Christopher Landon, Anthony Steeler, 3 words, go.
Three words?
3 words to describe yourself.
Ooh. Beautiful, cunning, and intelligent.
Uncle Slam, he's yours.
All right. Some good questions there, man. I really like that.
Yeah, that's fun.
All right. First question is, how do you balance wrestling and having a regular life?
That is, flashback to what we were talking about how, I would wrestle for free, but I get paid to do all the other stuff. Like what Christian said, that's it, man. It's tough. This is something where you are, if you want to be successful, even to the level that I've been successful, which self-admittedly, like I'm not where I want to be. And also I feel like for what I've done, I've been successful at it. You have to put wrestling first, right? Your life is secondary to wrestling. And that involves like hanging out with friends. That involves traveling. That involves relationships. I'm getting married in October to love of my life, beautiful girl. And from our second date, I was like, okay, here's the deal. This is what my life looks like. If you're not okay with that, that's totally fine. I completely understand. This is me being so selfish, and I understand that I live a selfish life. But if we can make this work, I'm going to put everything I have into making this work. Just know that I'm going to be gone most weekends. Know that I'm spending every night just about in the gym, and there's not going to be a lot of time for us. And to her credit, it wasn't perfect. It took us a while to get there, but we've made it work. And it's become just a wonderful, wonderful part of my life. But man, it's not easy. Like Devin and I always laugh because we're the most boring people of all time, because whether we're on the road or whether we're in town, it's like you wake up, you go to work, go to the gym, eat your food throughout the day, go home. You don't want to go out and like party or anything, because then you'll feel like shit at the gym the next morning and you won't get as good of a workout. And so like that's what it has to be in my opinion. There's not a lot of space for other things. So it's just to kind of condense that, man, I would say you have to be disciplined, you have to be dedicated, and then you have to really communicate well with whoever's in your life about those things.
I agree.
Good answer. Yeah. Let's see. Next, I got, what do you think about the current state of wrestling right now, as far as the pros or indies wrestling?
I think for me, the really cool thing about wrestling right now is there's so many different options that are accessible to people, right? So if you look at the old days with the territories, it's like you watched whatever local network was, whatever wrestling the local network was putting on until WWE came along, right, and made it national. And even then, it was like, okay, now I could watch the territory that I grew up watching kind of phase out, or WWE. But now there's WWE, there's AEW, there's MLW, there's NWA, there's TNA, and then there's a bazillion indies, all with great talent on it, that are pretty much all on YouTube or all on streaming services. Like there's so much accessibility to wrestling right now, which I think is so cool. And I think that's why the indies are kind of sexy right now, is because it's not like I'm going to wrestle and no one's ever going to learn about me. Like it's pretty easy to get your stuff out there. So I think that's a pretty cool aspect of it right now. And one thing that I am happy about with the current state of wrestling.
Okay.
Our friend JD at Mayhem Media. Sorry, to mean to interrupt you there, Uncle Sam. He's been saying the whole time we've been talking to him, if promotions aren't using YouTube and social media, what are you doing?
Right. Exactly.
It just makes
free
sense.
promotion. Yeah. All right. What is your craziest fan experience?
Craziest fan experience. All right. So I moved away from Arizona for a year. I moved up to Alaska to do my residency, and there was wrestling up there. And so I don't know if you guys are familiar. There's a company out of New Jersey called WrestlePro. It's a fairly bigger company. They've had a lot of guys get signed from there, and they're pretty just prominent indie company that's been around for a while. When I was in Alaska, they somehow developed a relationship with the guys up in Alaska, and they came up to run a show up there. And I was a part of that first show. I wrestled Hornswoggle on that show, actually.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, which was great. And it was in this Sullivan Arena, which is a huge arena in Anchorage where I was living, it was great. But I was earlier on in the card, and I had a bunch of friends that came. And so one of my buddies was sitting up in the bleachers, and so I wrestled my match. I went up and sat with him for the rest of the show, and we're kind of away from people. And this mom and her like 5-year-old kid came over, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so and so. Like he was on the show." And she goes, "Hey, sorry to bother you. Can you take a picture with my son?" And I went, "No." And she was like, "Excuse me?" And I said, "Okay, give me $10 and I'll take a picture." And she's like, I'm not doing that. And I said, well, get the fuck out of here then. I don't have time for you. Leave. I'm with my friend. Go away. And she just like went into obliterating the absolute living hell out of me. And my friend, mind you, I'm up there doing my residency. He's a future psychologist, so like a professional person going like, what is happening? And I remember explaining to him, I was like, look, my job on this show is to be a bad guy. You heard how excited everyone in this place was for Hornswoggle, right? And so if this person sees me do that, and then they see me up there and I'm actually a nice guy, that just jobs my credibility out.
Yeah,
So
kills kayfabe.
I kept kayfabe. And it led to a sweet mom and a 5-year-old kid obliterating the hell out of me verbally.
I'm
But
I'm coining a modern day term, and I'm calling it you MJF'd them.
MJF was actually on that show too.
I see that's dude.
Oh.
Yeah, you've talked to MJ. See, that just I love being in or being a part of this. I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Uncle Slam.
Oh, you're fine. Okay, I got one last question, and like then we'll let you go. Okay, like you've been in this about 10 years. If you could tell, say, your younger self something that you've learned, what would you tell them that like you know now that like you didn't know starting out? Like words of advice or wisdom.
Yeah, I think it's kind of not that specific, but I would say I would tell myself to be more fearless and more confident from the get go. Like, I think confidence, like we talked about earlier, is such a huge part of it, right? Like, Rock putting that sharpshooter on. We all know it looks like shit, but the confidence with which he puts it on makes it incredible. And so I think for a while it was just like this, like being a wrestler was something I always wanted to do. And so like, okay, I started training. I had my first match in 4 months. So 6-7 months into me starting wrestling, I'm on matches and I'm like, how did this happen? Like, I shouldn't be here. Like, that imposter syndrome creeps in. But I think having that mindset and just being kind of like in my head a little bit probably held me back from maybe being more aggressive and advancing more and reaching out to more promotions and traveling a little bit more and doing some of those things. I think that's something that held me back. So I would say to myself, man, like, put yourself out there. You're going to be good. It's okay. And the worst people are going to say is no, or this needs to get better. That needs to get better. And you'll be okay. And so one thing that when I'm helping the kids out at the school, one thing I really try to drive home is like, you cannot be afraid to fail. You're going to fail so many times in this business. Mm-hmm. You're going to try something new in training and your trainers are going to go, that was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Never do that again. And then you're going to be okay. And then you're going to go forward with it. And so I think getting away from that fear of failure is something, and having the confidence to just try new things and flush it if it didn't work, but then keep it if it did work. Cause that's how you get better. Like with a podcast, guys, like, okay, if you guys are doing your thing, but then the podcast over here is doing their thing and they're doing something really cool. Oh shoot. All right. They're kind of getting some steam with this. How can we be more creative on this side to then elevate ours a little bit more, you know? And like just competition breeds excellence. And so I think like me putting myself out there more, being more aggressive with some of that stuff, then would have just made me better overall. And so I think that's the biggest thing that I would have communicated to myself back then.
Okay, cool. Well, that's the last question I got, Legend.
Well, what is it that the Eric Bischoff said? Confident? Oh no, he said controversy creates cash. But
we could add confidence to that.
Yes, confidence and controversy do create cash, but that's it. You got to have the confidence to go for it, and like you said, to do that, you got to be disciplined.
So
you know, there's so many days I don't want to get up and post a post, or edit a video.
Gosh.
But I got to get up there and do it because, you know, and there's been times I'll post a video and it gets 50 views, you know, but the other day, what was it? A couple of weeks ago, about a month ago, Uncle Sam, we had a video that got over 4,000.
Right.
On TikTok, I believe it was, you know, so it's going to be hit and miss for a while. And that's the thing you got to realize, you know, and it's just staying the course. Like you said, being disciplined and just getting it done. Because you ain't going to do nothing unless you believe in yourself and, you know, go for it. Yep. You know, that's really it. You was talking about living in Alaska, and I'm over here picturing, like, I'm like, man, This dude over here running up mountains and shit like Rocky.
A little bit.
He done,
A
he
little
done
bit.
stood up on the mountain and was like, Dragon!
Yeah. Exactly.
I
I was
thought
up
you were
there
going to say he
yelling at
was
Hornswoggle.
wrestling
Yes.
grizzlies or something like that. I thought that's what he was.
Hornswoggle!
Yeah.
Hornswoggle!
Yeah.
Yeah, that is great. Yeah, he was talking about that. That's all I could picture in my head was like, look, he over there running up mountains and people are chasing him and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like I said, he said he's ain't got nothing else, man. I appreciate you coming. Like, this has been an awesome show, man. We definitely got to get you back. We'll get, Devin in here too. And, we will definitely help you all promote Pretty City Express out here too, man. Like I said, we just want to help people, and help the business. We've all, we always hear the saying, leave the business better than you found it.
Yes.
Well, I found it whenever I was a little kid, and just like everybody else, you kind of go through your phases where you don't watch it as much and you do watch it and blah, blah, blah. Life happens. But not only did I find it as a kid, I've gotten to live on the outskirts of it a little bit. So I feel like it's a responsibility to leave it better than what we found it, It's been pretty kind to us so far. So I can't say, too much bad about it and everything. But like I said, I appreciate you all coming. It's been an absolute joy. It's been a great conversation. I could go on for hours and hours, but I won't keep you that long. Like I said, Friday night. But yes, tell Devin and tell him to shoot Headlocks a friend request on what's that Facebook thing? That's that thing.
That Facebook thing, yeah.
That Zuckerberg thing.
That Zuckerberg thing.
But yeah, man, tell him to hit me up and we will plan something out to get you all on. We're also working on a sort of kind of game show type idea with tag teams. So we'd love to try to get people on for that and everything. But yeah, we'll get definitely together and do some more stuff, man. It's been a pleasure for real.
Love it. Thank you guys. This has been an absolute blast. So thank you for having me. Thanks for making the time. And yeah, look forward to coming back for sure.
Well, we appreciate you staying here and listening to my long-winded speeches. And before we get out of here, I'm going to let you plug anything you want to plug, any social medias or anything.
Yeah, on Instagram, I am _class, CLAS. And then Twitter, I am class. Facebook, Christopher Landon, Anthony Streeter. And then Devin and I have a podcast called the Pretty City Podcast. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, and the Instagram handle, Pretty City Pod. So follow us, listen to our stuff. We have a good time. Our tag team dynamic is very evident in the podcast, which is pretty entertaining. So check us out. Check me out. Appreciate you guys.
Not a problem, man. Well, you just got 2 more subscribers to both, man, because when I'm sitting here editing stuff, that's what I do. I throw wrestling on or a podcast on and just listen while I'm working and editing and stuff. So, yeah, you just got another one. We'll get you on. And, yeah, I appreciate everything. That's cool that you all do a podcast. I didn't know about that. I'd asked about that. See, I got to do better research. I'm a rookie. I admit it.
No, you're good. This is great, man. This is so fun.
I appreciate you being here, buddy, for real. Everybody, go check out Class. Like Rodney Dangerfield said, we're going to get out of here and get back to school. Uncle Sam, you got anything else for these people?
No, sir. I'm tapped out today, sir.
Well, I believe that referee's hit that 3 count, and we are going to ring that damn bell.
Ding, ding.